And today what I want to talk about is what does it really look like when we get clear on some simple concepts, and one of them is around what does it mean to really love God. And I know a lot of the time people struggle with that. Like, I was listening to a beautiful interview, and it was a couple of Yale professors, Christian Wyman and Miroslav Volf, wonderful people to listen to, and they were talking about how that's a struggle and how we define that and what does it actually really mean. Particularly Christian Wyman was talking about it, like he has cancer. The diagnosis is not great, and he's been battling this for years. And so what does it mean in those kind of situations to love God? Like, how is that? Because it feels sort of detached from reality, very esoteric, just for, sort of a small group over here. And, like, oh, what does that actually mean? Well, I think the logic to one way to approach it, and again, people will approach it different ways, so I'm just sharing my own way of kind of understanding it theologically, is that the command to love God is really important. And it matters a great deal in life because it can sort of form a certain basis for everything. And loving God, like, inevitably, I heard somebody say this just a couple weeks ago. It's like, well, you know what it means to love God? Obey the commandments. And I thought, yeah, you're right. And be really careful, because I knew the way they're meaning it. They're meaning like obey all the commandments, right? And all the commandments, do everything right, follow all the rules. That's how you love God. All right, that's partially true. But what did Jesus say? Well, Jesus said, to love God, we have to obey two great commandments. So you have the 10 commandments of the Old Testament, and then we have the two great commandments of the New Testament. These were very significant rules that really help society to function. And then along comes the two great commandments, and they kind of pull everything forward and give a new perspective. And it's not about saying that these rules that kind of are like traffic safety rules aren't important. They're really important. Try driving in an area that has no traffic rules. You'll see what I mean. But there's a bigger picture that we're to constantly keep an eye on. And it's using Dietrich Bonhoeffer's quote, I think you have these things over here that sort of rules and regulations, and then you have these big guiding principles. We're to keep both feet in both worlds, as paradox as that sounds. So what does that mean? Well, obey the commandments. Love God, you obey the commandments. What does it mean to obey the commandments? Well, Jesus was really clear. There's two great ones. Love the Lord your God and your neighbor as yourself. That simple. So here's this love of God. And we're to love God. How do we love God? And this is the key point. We love God by loving other people. Just that's what we're asked to do. Like, if you're feeling overwhelmed with stuff, love other people, love other people, love other people. And how does that sort of work? Like, how does love of God sort of work? Because I know in my mind I can so get into sort of Christus Victor, and that's a Latin phrase, victorious Christ. That it's, so I'm going to shove Christ way up there, way high above, and like way into the clouds. Well, that's not what Jesus wanted. Jesus came down on earth so that we could see him, so we could see how God works, so we could see how to love other people. And that's really significant. So loving God is loving other people. With Jesus, we witnessed a loving God, loving other people. That very, very simple connection. And that creates a far different way. And loving God, then, to me, there's some, when I love God, it's I'm going to be open to some guidance. I'm going to be open to being able to sincerely pray, God, not my will, but yours. And what happens through that? Softness, really soft, really creates soft. And I was thinking this morning when I was working on this little talk, I was thinking, oh yeah, it's soft serve. And I was like, oh, it's corny, but it's an easy way to remember. Soft serve. So love of God creates a softness. In other words, an openness, similar to what we talked about yesterday with curiosity and kindness and just openness to other people and all that beautiful, beautiful stuff. So there's sort of a softness there. And then over on the other side, then comes a service. Once we learn to be soft, have a soft edge, we'll be able to serve much better. Now, that soft edge is actually incredibly strong. By soft edge, I don't mean sort of, namby-pamby, very soft, like nothing going on, just a complete blob. No, I mean a softness where we're really able to hear other people. We have soft edges so we can really see the needs of other people and respond to those. That's the softness I think that Jesus would have us practice. Well, because he wasn't soft. Let's be clear about that. But he did have soft edges where anyone, again, take your pick. Any group could access him, and that's the way it's supposed to be with God. So friends, look at that and look at that softness. Look at those soft edges. Again, that's soft, and then figure out a way to serve. So love of God is is the softness. Love of the neighbor is the service. So soft, serve. So I don't know how you want to live that this weekend. Maybe go out and have a vanilla ice cream cone on me and be like, there's some soft serve. And just allow yourself to find that softness, and then allow yourself to go towards that service as well. And just see what starts to show up, because I think you're going to find some beautiful stuff this weekend if you can do that. So I hope that makes sense, my dear friends. A little weekend of loving God by loving other people. To love other people, just remember, it's all about softness and then service. And have a great weekend doing that. So with that, what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little breath. We're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing, and then we'll say hi to our friends who've joined us on Facebook. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath. Meditation from the Old Testament. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's do a quick little look here, see who's been able to join us. And then I'm going to give a little public service announcement here at the end. Kay, good morning to you, my dear friend. I hope you're hanging in there with your dear brother. What a good guy, good man. Patty, good morning to you, my dear Pittsburgh Steeler loving friend. Great to have you joining us as well. And now flipping over onto New Church Live. Here we go. That page over there. No comments over there. All right. Well, listen, folks. Wonderful to see you again. We love getting comments. We get them throughout the day. Feel free to drop a line or text me or whatever. It'll be great to have a little conversation with you about this really important topic of how to love God. And the public service announcement is, we've posted on our page, and in short order here, we're going to be having a wonderful little Wednesday get-together around Lost. We're calling it Conversations Around the Table. We've done this before. It's a wonderful way just to get together with some people. If you're in town, get together with some people, have a little conversation around Lost. More than welcome to join us. You can find more information on our homepage or on our Facebook page. And wherever you're joining us from and wherever you're going to this weekend, God bless all of you. May you have a wonderful weekend ahead.